agricultural information for giving me this opportunity. This is my fifth or sixth presentation before your agricultural information. Thank you very much. So now we are seeing this agricultural, last 1 or 2 months onwards, we are seeing this tomato prices increase to 200 rupees per kg or 150 rupees per kg. Again, then after we are seeing this onion prices, again they are reaching 150 rupees per kg or something like that. It is not a one-time phenomenon. It is recurring continuously over the last, 10, 20 years, means 20 years onwards, even during the Indira Gandhi period, it's a long period also, the onion prices, tomato prices, and potato, they call top, tomato, onion, potato. These prices are very, highly fluctuating. Sometimes prices increase like, from 10 rupees per kg to 150 rupees or 300 rupees per kg within a span of 1 month, 2 months, something like that. This is a recurring phenomenon. And we are not able to control that type of steep increase in the prices. We are also seeing the food inflation, which is increased. And also these onion, tomato prices are concern for the government, especially many governments. Earlier, some Congress government, even Delhi government, they fall because of this tomato prices or onion prices or potato prices. So the price policy is very, very important. So keeping this in view, I will really give some overview of the price policy since means beginning of the price policy in India. So then you will get some idea about this evolution of agricultural policy. This is my outline of presentation. Evolution of agricultural policies, reasons for low farm incomes, even though prices are 150, 300 rupees per kg sometimes. But you see these prices, these benefits are not reaching to the consumers, not reaching to the farmers especially. Now we are seeing so many, ad hoc policies like ban of rice exports, ban of onion exports, or minimum export price, or the stock limits. So these are all some of the government interventions to reduce the benefits to the farmers due to this, high consumer prices. Because if consumer price increases to 150 rupees or 200 rupees per kg, how much of these 200 rupees are going to the consumers is very, very important. Still, farmers are getting only 30, 40 rupees per kg. Majority share may be going in between to the middleman or commission agent. So that is the situation. And current status of minimum support price implementation. We all know only the government scheme which is very effective at a grassroots level, in at least for some commodity like paddy and wheat, is minimum support price. Other than minimum support price, there is no much involvement in the agriculture sector in the to the farmers. Of course, there are some schemes like fertilizer subsidy, that is a huge money. But in terms of agriculture, outputs and these agricultural markets, only minimum support price is the important policy variable which government occasionally or frequently they are using. And the current status of APMC markets. You see, APMC markets, origin of APMC markets is in the 17th century. 17th century in India, means 1850s or 1830s. Some sort of regulated markets introduced in India by the Britishers. They evolved over the years. They have benefited farmers in the beginning, 1960s, 70s, and 80s, because during those periods there is a lot of malpractices by the traders and commissioners. There is a lot of collusion. because farmers are illiterate or uneducated, they can easily be manipulated by these middlemen and commission agents. So these regulated markets with the membership of the farmers and local government elected representatives, they established to serve the farming community, to regulate the malpractices, to control the malpractices, uh, to give maximum share to the farmers in consumers' report. However, after 1990s, government is not invested much amount of money. There is no elections because APMC markets, mandal level or block level, there is a need for frequent, every 5 years, once in 5 years, there has to be elections and farmers representative, commission agents represent all the representatives. They elect governing body and they have to run this APMC market in a very transparent way. But unfortunately, last 30 to 40 years, there is no regular elections for the APMC markets. These APMC market chairmen are generally the with what we can say nominated positions by the MLAs or local MPs or government. So just they tax or they levy cess on the farmers and they don't improve any infrastructure. You can see any APMC market mandis, you will see their pathetic condition. They are not performing very well in the even now. Again, there is an interstate differences in government support. So there are two government support, as I mentioned, minimum support price, procurement at minimum support price. Generally, only paddy in South India goes only paddy, to some extent cotton. North India wheat also there. And only 2-3 commodities government is procuring now. And only some say 10 states, they are, procurement operations are very well. Otherwise, pulses, oil seeds, vegetables, milk is some other way is there. But most of the commodities, there are some 20-30 commodities, those commodities, this minimum support price is not working. And also, this, even fertilizer subsidy. Most of the fertilizers, 70% of the fertilizers are used for paddy, wheat, sugarcane. Remaining some 20-30 crops, the farmers supply very meager fertilizers. So again, these fertilizer subsidy, 3-4 crores per annum, 3-4 lakh crores per annum, use subsidy. And MSP implementation, these procurement, these two are going to only a few commodities in a few states. Not all the farmers are getting benefit. So that is one concern for the policy. And efficiency of procurement operations of paddy and wheat, even per paddy and wheat, because of the lot of corruption involved in the whole process from procurement to the ultimate milling, ration shop, all this process, there is a lot of inefficiencies, lot of corruption is involved. I think you are maybe knowing that Rajiv Gandhi's famous statement in if government of India spend 100 rupees on public distribution system of rice, only 15 rupees is going to the end consumer. Remaining 85 rupees are going to the the corruption and all inefficiencies. So that is the situation during his 1980s and 90s. However, after that, there is a lot of improvement. Now the public distribution system, food corporation are to some extent, they have improved their efficiency. They are functioning very well as of today. And efficiency of procurement operations of paddy and wheat, and bias against other crops. As I mentioned, only paddy, wheat, some sugarcane, even some to some extent cotton are getting some procurement benefits. Remaining crops are not getting. And way forward for assured price to assured income schemes. Of course, government of India is encouraging, the doubling farmers' income motto with motto, all these farm policies they are encouraging. But how we can achieve that goal? through the price policy or through some support schemes, etc., will be examining. So first of all, I will just discuss the evolution of agricultural policies. So if you go back to 1600, very grandparents situation in all villages, almost 100% under small petty traders, small traders. There is no organized market. There is no mandal markets. Only small, weekly shanties or weekly markets used to be there. For example, in Sunday, market will be in this village, and it will move. Monday, it will move to the next village, and Wednesday, it will move to the other village. Like that, it will weekly markets without any infrastructure. This is a whole age-old tradition, actually. These markets are not only the exchange places for sale places for grains and other things. They are also cultural centers. They're also the puzzles or all sort of games, spiritual activities, cultural center, dance. All these are weekly mandis, weekly shanties. You can see now those that tradition still we are seeing in villages. Some Saturday market or Wednesday market, something like that. So gambling, these are all the centers of all these things. So the farmers comes to this village, this market, they sell whatever the grain they are having. They can purchase non-agricultural inputs like plows or some utensils or some other material, or they can play some gamblings. They can participate in cultural activities. So these are, and they will go back. And during that period, most of the farmers are 80%, 90% are self-sufficient. So 80, 90%, whatever they want to consume, they are producing on their own farm. Unlike now, only paddy farmer only growing paddy or wheat farmer only growing wheat, not like that. So a farmer used to cultivate some 20, 30 varieties of crops, different crops, including livestock, goat, sheep, and everything, cows, etc. So all the requirements of the household are met through these activities, farming and with large areas. So only some 10% of the produce is sold in the market, those markets, and the remaining very primary needs of non-agricultural goods, like during those period we don't have so many items also to purchase. They don't have mobile phones, they don't have any TV, all these things. They are rudimentary basic needs, clothes, etc. They purchase and they will go back. So that is the tip. So this India's first regulated market, Karanja, is established by the British government in 1886. What is the mere purpose? So 19th century, 1886 onwards, there is a huge demand for the cotton in the international markets. Why? Because the industrial revolution started in London, UK, Europe basically, and America, spread to America. So they need lot of cotton, raw cotton. They import raw cotton, and they make this weaving and all this cloth making, milling, etc., and re-export to India and other countries at higher prices. So that is the thing. So they need lot of raw cotton. And a lot of raw cotton is not available because our farmers are just subsistence. They grow mostly food crops. So they encouraged cotton crop, and they put a restriction that cotton, wherever they have grown, they have to sell only in this regulated market. So that entire that particular some 30, 40 villages, cotton wherever they have grown, they have to sell at this particular market. It is prohibited to sell outside that market. So the main purpose is to export to UK, then to make clothes and re-export clothes and garment, then re-export to India and other developing countries like Bangladesh, Pakistan, etc. So that is the main thing. And again, the first legislation being the Bearer Cotton and Grain Market Act, uh, that is again relating to cotton and grain. And Royal Commission on Agriculture also recommended so many reforms in agriculture. One is regulation of APMC markets, storage, infrastructure, development, and all these things. Uh, Agricultural Produce Marketing Act and Model Bill. So, based on this Royal Commission report in 1928, there is a model bill introduced in the British Indian Parliament that there should be some markets at each block or at each mandal. There should be some elections. There are some, this price regulation and all these things. So this process is started before independence. So what happened meanwhile, 1939, there is a Second World War started. Then Second World War, so all this food grains production is diverted to the military use, military demand. Across the world, prices increased. There is a famine situation in 1943, Bengal famine, it is called. Bengal famine, Second World War. So this type of situation, there is a famine situation is there in this period, and we cannot. Some 20 million Indians died during this famine period because of this, lack of food, lack of food grains. So this situation is continued until 1960s, or even after independence. But after independence, Indian government is have an agreement with American government that is called Public Law 480. What is it? Public Law 480. So we are having, famine situation. There is scarcity of food, and there is a surplus food in America, especially wheat and rice. Wheat, we used to import wheat. To buy these food grains, we don't have foreign exchange. We don't have dollars because we are not at all exporting any commodity. So we don't have dollars. But we have to import. So this Public Law 480, under this act, the American government facilitated Indian government that you can import our wheat and rice in local currency like Indian rupees. We can import by using Indian rupees. So we buy some tons of rice and wheat from America in Indian rupees, and that Indian rupees, the American government used for missionary purposes, Christian missionaries and food aid, all this type of hospital construction in India. So that aid, aid is also started like that. So this is ship to mouth. During that period, 1961 to 69, every 15 minutes, one ship. In 1965, Indo-Pak War, again Indo-Pak War, lot of diversion of manpower, assets, all these things to war preparation. So food grain production is less. So during that period, every 15 minutes, one ship is used to arrive in Indian ports. So that is the situation that is called ship to mouth situation, ship to mouth situation. So keeping that all these things, lot of volatility, there is a possibility of middleman speculation and all these things. Government of India introduced the Essential Commodities Act 1955 to control, means hoarding type of thing, to control hoarding, stockpiling, etc. Stock limits. Nobody should store more than say 5 tons of rice at any stage, at a retailer or wholesaler, whatever. More than 5 tons of rice or wheat should not be stored by anybody. That is called Essential Commodities Act 1955. So when there is no storage nowhere, then it will be available for consumption. That is their hypothesis. So then what happened from 1960s and to 1970s, very active, both policies, in terms of green revolution, we can say. So the high yielding, so there's 1962 to 64, Government of India introduced high yielding varieties tested. The short duration rice and short duration wheat varieties, short duration rice varieties introduced from International Rice Research Institute, short duration wheat varieties from CIMIT, Mexico. These two varieties introduced and planted in, sown in the Punjab and Haryana. We call the Pusa Institute. This in Indian Agriculture Research Institute, New Delhi, and these seeds are sown or experimental plots in Punjab and Haryana belt, because during that period also Punjab lot of irrigation facilities is there. So these are high yielding varieties, require a lot of irrigation, lot of water, lot of fertilizers, but they give a lot of yields, productivity. So they started from Punjab and Haryana. 1962 to 64, again released across 1965 after their feasibility, their adoption at Indian conditions. So during that period, we all know the Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. That slogan, Jai Jawan, only we know. That Jai Kisan is also started, because Kisan is very important. Food is, it's a security issue, country security issue, food security issue. So Jai Kisan slogan started by Lal Bahadur Shastri in 1960s. So slowly, once the production, to increase the production, what is required is the community cooperation, cooperative movement, to supply seeds, to supply fertilizers, or to implement, to communicate the best practices, all this type of thing, extension, agricultural extension. So National Cooperative Development Act 1962. So cooperation development started to promote these high-yielding varieties, promote cooperatives across India, to give seeds, fertilizers, credit, etc. All these things. 1962. Again, because once the production started increasing in Punjab and Haryana, government has to procure. Without procurement, what will happen? Prices will crash. Nobody will sell. No means for farmers stopping production. So 1964, if the production slowly started increasing, then to procure the food grains in Punjab and Haryana, Food Corporation of India started in 1964. 1964. Importation of high yielding in a large scale, 18,000 tons of high yielding variety seed is imported from America and other countries. And not only Punjab and Haryana, parts of Tamil Nadu, parts of Andhra Pradesh also, these high yielding varieties is sown for increasing yield. And so you see, 1965 is a ship to mouth situation, but within 3 years, 1967, no place to storage in Punjab especially. That much production increased twice, 3 times, 4 times increased in just 2 years. And there is no space, because storage, warehouses, Food Corporation of India, warehouse corporation, all these things are not there. So they stored in the school buildings are there. They stored in the schools. And that is the situation. Within 2 years, that improvement in the production and need for storage is increased. And what happened? Although production increased 3-4 times in Punjab and Haryana, the famine type of situation is continuing in eastern India, Orissa, Bihar, all the states. So if allow the private sector will procure, speculate. So to avoid that private sector participation, Government of India put a restriction on interstate trade. So Punjab, no private people should procure in Punjab and sell in Bihar. So only Government Food Corporation will procure from Punjab and that will be distributed through warehouses, Warehousing Corporation of India or Food Corporation of India, and sold through the public distribution system or ration shops across India. So that's why they put some restrictions on interstate trade. And to maintain all these increased production, the encouraging farmers to use high yielding varieties, to storage, to transport from Punjab to other states, and to build the storage houses. So they have strengthened the APMC Market Act across India. There are now about 7,000 APMC markets are there. Each block there is one regulated market they have established during that period. And the Green Revolution, as I mentioned, Green Revolution started in 1965 to 67, and to procure from the farmers, Food Corporation of India started. And State Trading Corporation of India, whenever there is a scarcity of food grains, State Trade Corporation of India is only authorized to import food grains. No other private sector people are eligible to import from any other country. Only State Trading Corporation. Trading means exporting. State Trading Corporation of India is authorized to import from other countries and distributed through Food Corporation of India or public distribution system. Again, 1960s, Warehousing Corporation of India is also started. So all this, you see the Food Corporation of India, State Trading Corporation of India, Warehousing Corporation of India, all these are all cooperative development. All these are all big government. All are big government with the discouragement to the private sector, price speculation, and all these things. So that is the main idea there. Simultaneously, the Operation Flood started in 1970s. Cooperative movement, Amul experience started in 1970s, and you all see the 1970s, 80s, and 90s only cooperative milk societies are there. But lately, from 2000, last 20 years, since last 20 years, even private sector participation is also increasing much. And now the private sector is bigger player when compared to the cooperative sector. So the milk revolution started with cooperatives, and now it is taken by the private sector. All the green revolution, grain markets, APMC markets, all these things, earlier 18th century, they're all in the private sector, but only after taking over by the government of India goes like Food Corporation of India, State Trading Corporation of India, or Warehousing Corporation of India, they became bigger. They are managing across India. All of a sudden, there is a no famine situation in India. We are becoming slowly self-sufficient in food grains from 1960s, and by 1980s, we are almost self-sufficient in food grains and also milk. So during that period, again, the prevention of block marketing, maintenance of supply of essential commodities. At least you see up to 1980s, the government main priority is big government. All the sector food grains are dominated by the government sector, whether it's a Food Corporation of India, State Trading Corporation of India, or Warehousing Corporation of India, or little encouragement for the cooperatives, but it is absolutely discouraged the private sector players. And even Bureau of Indian Standards also started in 1986. Why it is started? Because by 1980s, late 80s, we are becoming more self-sufficient, and we are becoming more surplus in some of the commodities, like spices, we are surplus. So to export to different countries like Europe or America, we have to maintain standards. So 1980s, 1990s, the Bureau of Indian Standards Act 1986, it started. So again, this slowly from 1990s onwards, we all know the liberalization came in. WTO things are coming in. Some private sector players are coming in. From, for example, GM crops, cotton, PT cotton. This revolution entirely started by the private sector, Maiko, Syngenta. So now earlier Jai Jawan converted into Jai Kisan, Jai Jawan and Jai Kisan in 1965. By 2002, Vajpayee government, it is further extended to Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, and Jai Vignan. So how it is evolved? Jai Jawan is uh, World War II, World War II situation. Jai Kisan is the food security green revolution. Jai Vignan is biotechnology, science-led growth in 2002. So that is the evolution of the uh, schemes and programs in India. So, but what happened after 1980s is there is a policy paralysis from 1980s to 2020. So why this policy paralysis? We all know because only government is established, big government players are there. Rajiv Gandhi, 1980s, Rajiv Gandhi gave a statement that out of 100 rupees, only 15 rupees is going to end consumers in the public distribution system. A lot of corruption is there across all these government bodies like Food Corporation of India, Warehousing Corporation, public distribution system. Lot of corruption across India. So that is the situation. APMC markets, again, lot of corruption and mostly dominated by the local politician, and they are not developed any infrastructure in the market. They're just happening of market sales, and they are using that sales for their own purposes. So that is the. So what happened because of this region? High cost of intermediation, the marketing charges, fees, sales, etc., etc. So many marketing charges, 3/4 of the commodity price. And retailers' traders' margins are huge, 60 to 70%. There is a high leakage of Food Corporation of India PDS system. Some grain never reached to the consumers. However, and why? Because this green revolution and white revolution are entirely led by the central government. There is no private competition. So realizing this of license Raj, government of India started liberalizing the economy, encouraging the private sector, opening up all these food grain markets to the private sector. But this is successful in industry and services because Bajaj, the scooters brands, only Bajaj used to be there before 1980s. In cars, only Ambassador car used to be there before 1980s. Even telephone, only BSNL used to be there before 1980s, 90s. But once liberalized in two-wheelers, Bajaj is there, Hero is there, Hero Honda is there, Suzuki is there, so many, some 10, 12 or playing in India in a bigger play. Ambassador is out of the debt, and now Honda, Hero Honda, this Hyundai, so many other things are there. BSNL is also similarly now Airtel, Jio, all these things. Once opening up, the quality is improved. Most of the telephone services quality improved. Airplanes, earlier only Air India used to be there. Now there are some 10 players, Indigo, a lot of things. And the prices are reducing, quality of services are increased like that. So that is not happened in agriculture, because in industry it is very easy. So in industry, what happened if you want to liberalize, they just call Bajaj, they just call Ambassador CEO, and they just call Air India CEO. They put a meeting, so we are liberalizing Air India, mobile phone, cars, scooters, etc. So they agree. There is no agitation from the other thing. But in case of agriculture, the actual real producers of agriculture is the farmers. So there is a lot of farmers agitation once government wants to withdraw from the grain market and give more say to the private players. So that's why These agriculture reforms are stagnant. 1980s to 2020, agricultural reforms are stagnant. So, not changing with the times in the 1990s and 2000, APMC markets, state controlled, no elections, monopolistic power, and lot of huge market fees, as commission, and essential commodity stock limits. No, stock limit means what? Stock limits means, as I mentioned, no private player should not store more than 5 tons of grain. That is the stock limit. Once you put stock limit, Reliance, Ambani, Adani, these people will not come. Because if you want to put a stock limit, the main advantage of the big players like Reliance, Adani, Ambani is their scale. They want to operate in 5,000 tons, 5 lakh tons of grains, not 5 tons. So if you put that there should not be any storage capacity more than 5 tons, no big player will come in the market. So that is what is happening in the agricultural markets. No big private players are now existing in the market. Reliance, Adani, Ambani, whomever, all are small, petty, even still there are petty warehouses, small warehouses are there, food corporation of warehouses are there, cold chains also, small cold chains are there, not a big players are there. So that is the problem. And suppression of market signals, these are all some of the things. Again, with if there is no big players, what will happen? Big storage houses, there will not be any big storage houses. There will not be any big refrigerated facilities, transport facilities. If what will happen if those things are not there? For example, to store onions, you need particular refrigerated or to store even tomatoes or to prepare some ketchup and use tomatoes or onions. These are all perishable commodities. They need a refrigerated type of facility, a particular temperature type of things. So if big players like Reliance, Adani, Ambani is not there, no small players are not able to do this big business. They cannot transport only one truck. They will transport. They cannot transport overnight some 100 trucks. But India is a big country. It needs 100 or 1,000 truck transport facilities for tomato transport from north to south, south to north, with refrigerated facility. So these big players are not there. So that facilities are not developed. Only small players are there. That's why these price fluctuations are more now. Within 2 months, price is increasing. Why the 2 months only price is increasing by from 20 rupees to 150 rupees? Because there is no storage facility. If storage facilities are there, if prices are 10 rupees or 5 rupees, during that period, big companies can buy at 20 rupees, 30 rupees tomato and store them for 2 to 3 months. Then they sell, if price goes beyond some 50, 60 rupees, they will sell at 60 rupees. And prices will not go beyond 60 rupees. But not now what is happening? At 5 rupees, there is no storage facilities, everything is on the roads. And just after 3 months, there is no tomatoes, the prices are going to 150 rupees. So that is the situation. That's why we need bigger players, large capacities, 1,000 trucks of capacity, 1,000 warehouses capacity to store as well as transport and market. So that private capital is not existing as a now. Because of that reason, this new farm laws introduced by the government of India in 2020 are with provisions for private players, big players, removal of Essential Commodities Act, entry of the private people, entry of the contract farming. All these things are very much essential to encourage private players, big players to smoothen the prices. So the harvest period prices will increase from 5%, 5 rupees to 30 rupees. In the peak demand period, prices will reduce from 150 to 60 rupees. that type of smoothening of prices will happen only when there are some big players in the market.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. We
Ah.
have completed 40 minutes, sir. If you can
So I
quickly
think
finish,
I
I'll
can
take a
stop
few
here.
questions.
Huh?
If you can quickly finish, I'll take a few questions, sir.
So I think that is the entire things I have covered.
Okay, okay, okay.
This who will gain and who will lose in this the new context of new form laws is one nation, one market. The new form laws, one nation, one market, barrier-free interstate market, barrier-free Punjab to Kanyakumari, Kanyakumari to Punjab, it will be free. And one nation from Kanyakumari to this, whatever the place, it's a one market, one nation. Market and function, private participation, because government do perfectly when it is for regulation or development. Private people do business in a better way. Freedom and choice to the farmers. So these are some of the things which this. So what we have to do as a government now, encourage farmers, strengthening the farmers, like encouraging farmers producer organizations, farmers collectives, local level institutions, even cooperatives, and federation of SHGs, into FPOs, and village storage structures. Bargaining power of the farmers needs to be increased before encouraging the private sector in a bigger way. Registration and tracking of transactions, that is very transparency. Information provision is very important. Efficient price information, when price are reaching 150 rupees, when price are reaching 5 rupees, where the 5 rupees is there, where the 150 rupees is there. So that type of price information needs to be provided for the farmers as well as the consumers. Strengthening the APMC markets. APMC markets, every block it is there, these are mostly government regulated, they have to be strengthened, and expand ENAM. So these are all some of the things. Ultimately, who will gain with the liberalization of the agriculture sector is the farmers, because they will get more. Private sector also comes and play the by the goods. Consumers will get the quality and price, and large corporations also they will enter into the market. And who will be the losers? Small scale middlemen, commission agents, they will be out with the entry of the big players. State lose revenue, sales tax, etc. APMC market committee also highly polluted, means politically. So these are all some of the things I will share with you these slides. Thank you very much. I joined as a joint director in policy support research recently in Raipur, more from Hyderabad, Krida. This is for your information.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for a wonderful presentation, sir, and also wish you a good luck for your new position, sir. Okay. I'll move on to the questions now. The first question is, what role did government procurement and policy distribution systems play in evolution of agricultural price policies?
So, as I mentioned, this procurement by the Food Corporation of India is started in 1966 onwards. Once the Green Revolution was there, once the production increased from, say, very minimum to 3-4 times in a very short period from 1965 to 67, what will happen if there is a plenty of production? If the government is not procuring, then the market prices will clash. As I am seeing, we are seeing in tomato, prices will clash to 5 rupees per kg if the production is plenty. So to avoid that type of situation, to minimum floor price, that minimum support price, now paddy it is 2,000 rupees per quintal. So if government gives some minimum procurement price, anyway yields are increased, productivity increased. If the prices are supportive, given remunerative prices, farmers will invest more more money in purchase of seed, in purchase of high yielding varieties, in purchase of fertilizers, in increasing yield. These are all relating to land development. All these things they will spend. Simultaneously, that will increase the yields, and if we increase the yield, definitely the one farmers themselves are getting better yields and better incomes. That is one thing. The other thing is that during that 1960s and 70s, the food security, national food security is in jeopardy. So it helped indirectly, directly to ensuring the food security across India. So they procure at Punjab and Haryana. They distribute through public distribution system across India. So you see 1950s, 60s, 50s, up to 1950s, up to independence, we are having more frequent famines when compared to China. But once there is an independence, China is having more famine deaths when compared to India because we managed food economy very perfectly, very well. We introduced the green revolution. We established the Food Corporation of India. We established the public distribution system. Whatever the increase in the product, we ensured that productivity will increase 3-4 times immediately within just a short span of 2 to 3 years. And entire this, we set up a mechanism to distribute these food grains across India within a just short span of time. So there is no famine after 1960s in India. That is otherwise in China, a lot of famines. Some 20 million people died because of the famines, because of this food shortage. But India, that situation never arose after 1960s.
Okay. How have technological advancements in agriculture affected the way price policies are designed and implemented in India?
So this technology, for example, technology, you can see the famine situation, 1940s, 50s, very low productivity. We depend on the ship to mouth. 1940s and 50s, ship to mouth from America to India. Once Green Revolution started in 1960s, late 60s, we introduced the minimum support price, procurement. We introduced the procurement. We introduced the Food Corporation of India. We introduced the Warehousing Corporation. We introduced the public distribution system. All these things we have set up. But technology in paddy and wheat is well developed. Productivity gain is 3-4 times increased. But the similar gain in product technology is not taking place in other crops, like pulses. Productivity is still remaining 1 ton per hectare, 1 ton, 1.5 ton per hectare. Whereas paddy, 2 to 3 tons per hectare. Wheat, 3 to 4 tons per hectare. Where pulses, 1 ton per hectare. Oil seeds, again 1 ton per hectare. Like you see millets, 1 ton per hectare, less than 1 ton per millets, pearl millet or sorghum, whatever the millets, 1 ton per hectare. What happened? This the procurement mechanism. So earlier, households used to consume millets, pulses, oilseeds in a very balanced way. But once this green revolution, I know we're having very huge advantage to paddy and wheat. Slowly, consumers as well as the farmers use it to shift from these coarse grains, sorghum, millets to pulses to paddy and wheat only. Paddy and wheat only. Because another thing is that these millets, pulses, oils, they don't have any procurement mechanism. Although Government of India announces MSP, minimum support price, for 23 commodities, they don't procure all these 23 commodities. They procure only paddy and wheat. Remaining 20 commodities sell like a signal price. Just they announce some, let's say, for example, chickpea or PGNP, 50 rupees per kg MSP, but they don't procure. Prices may be below the MSP or above the MSP depending on the market condition. That situation is already there. So it's not So it hugely shifted area from all these millets, etc., to paddy and wheat. And consumption also, earlier consumption, we used to consume more millets and all the other things. We have shifted from millets to rice and wheat. That is one thing. This this uh, so 1960s, 70s, and 80s, up to 80s and our 90s, paddy wheat dominated in the policy. But 2000 onwards, 2000 onwards, the cotton yields steeply increased. Cotton yields steeply increased technologically because of the BT cotton. Once BT cotton technology improved, we became big exporters of cotton across the world. And our productivity increased. Earlier, paddy and wheat is confined to rain-fed area, means irrigated areas, water, wherever the water irrigation facilities are there. But the cotton revolution is much more wider. It is also spanning across the drylands like Gujarat, even Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Telangana, even some parts of Telangana, Tamil Nadu. So all these drylands also benefited from the cotton revolution. So again, some few commodities having some advantage, like pearl millet in some other crops, and some no huge. There is a huge increase in the technologically the huge increase in the fisheries sector, poultry sector. Poultry earlier not very niche, deshi poultry used to be there. But 1980s onwards, the broiler poultry is there, the high yielding poultry is there, and even milk, high yielding hybrid milk cows are there. They dominated the whole milk production. And procurement, simultaneously procurement also there. We are now exporting milk powder to some 20 countries, and we are now exporting this the consumption, especially consumption also increased. Like earlier, we are most of the, I say, chicken is a very rich man food. Now even common man also eating weekly once or monthly once chicken frequently. Earlier that frequency is not there. And we are now exporting lot of prawns, lot of fish, because of our technology. We are gaining a lot. And also we are exporting a lot of basmati rice. This type of, the price policy, technology also influence export import policy, also influence the price policy. Again, if you see the relative prices of, paddy and wheat, because productivity increased 3-4 times during this period. Once productivity increase remains, the prices should go down. And really, the prices of paddy and wheat relatively gone down. And because there is no technological progress in the yield progress in the pulses, prices of pulses relatively gone up. You see the paddy, wheat, you will get 20 rupees, 30 rupees per kg. Now chickpea, pigeon pea, whatever the pulse, you take more than 100 rupees per kg. So that relative price of pulses increased because there is no technological progress. Whereas paddy and wheat, there is a technological progress, productivity increased within 1 hectare. Earlier, 1 ton they used to produce, now they are producing 10 tons. Productivity increased too much. As a supply increased, demand is almost not much increasing, so prices gone down. So that type of interrelationships are there between technology, markets, and price policy.
Okay, and move on to the next question, sir. What are some of the mechanisms through which agricultural subsidies are provided to farmers in India, and how have these mechanisms changed over time?
So, as I mentioned, historically, if we see the first farmer subsidies, we can say it is MSP, minimum support price, which is introduced in 1960s. So price support. If market prices goes below this MSP, like for example, MSP now is 20 rupees per kg rice, paddy. So market price goes down, 16 rupees per kg. Even then, government food corporation will buy at 20 rupees. So that is the first subsidy. Means 3 rupees per kg. That is the first subsidy. Again, linked to the MSP is the food security subsidy. What is food security subsidy? It is like PDS, ration shop price. Generally in Tamil Nadu or India, anywhere, 2 rupees per kg rice. So that means the market price is 20 rupees or 30 rupees. Generally, it's a 40 rupees. So the market price is 40 rupees and the consumer price is 2 rupees. That means each kg, the benefit is 38 rupees subsidy is going to borne by the government going to the consumers. Some is going to the farmers, some is going to the consumers. That is the first level of subsidy. Again, to encourage farmers to use more fertilizers, Government of India introduced the subsidized urea in 1970s onwards. That is also huge. Input embedded subsidy, that's called urea linked. So approximately every urea per kg of urea 20 to 30 rupees subsidy government is giving, which 3 lakh crore rupees. 3 lakh crore rupees is a combined budget. It's more than the combined budget of Ministry of Rural Development, Ministry of Agriculture. Huge subsidy going to the fertilizer subsidy. Again, still it's going on. But recently, government is shifting from this direct MSP and urea fertilizer subsidy towards direct money transfers, direct benefit transfers. Because now every farmer is having this Aadhaar linked, land linked bank accounts. Aadhaar, land record, and bank account. Now, government is having that PM Kisan. Central government is giving every farmer some 6,000 rupees in 3 installments in year, based on the land records. If he is having some land, agriculture, he is doing agriculture, then he is getting some direct money transfer, 6,000 rupees per farmer. Some Telangana government is also giving similar type of thing. So direct benefit transfers, direct money transfer based on the bank account and land records, they are giving subsidy. This is that. And some price deficiency payments, that is some little advanced type of subsidy that still it's not at widely practiced, but it's evolving.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. We have now completed the round of questions. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we like to thank Dr. Amarender Reddy for the talk and for answering the questions. I'd like to also thank all the participants in this meeting. This meeting will now be closed.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're most welcome, sir.